This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Indicom probes the shooting of mentally ill man in Santa Cruz. The Indicom Commission of Investigations is probing the shooting and injuring of a man believed to be mentally ill in Santa Cruz earlier this week. The injured man, who it is alleged attacked a policeman with a knife, is in hospital. A police source said the injured man with a bullet wound to the chest is in serious but stable condition. While saying he was waiting to be fully appraised of the details, Indicom's Director of Complaints, David Lewin, told the news by telephone that the agency's investigators have processed the scene. The policeman's firearm has been taken for testing and the injured man has been interviewed. Construction to start on fire stations for Ulster Spring and Balaclava. Construction of 2 fire stations in Ulster Spring, Trelawney and Balaclava, St. Elizabeth is expected to commence this year. Minister of Local Government Desmond McKenzie says ground is slated to be broken for the Ulster Spring facility next month and the Balaclava station thereafter. Speaking this week during the sectorial debate, Mr. McKenzie disclosed that the new Port Maria Fire Station in St. Mary and the Yallas Fire Station in St. Thomas will be officially opened shortly. Mr. McKenzie also told the House of Representatives that the Jamaica Fire Brigade has received the new trucks that were sourced during the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Each of the island's 34 fire stations now have at least one brand new state-of-the-art fire truck. Ministry vows to address a teacher shortage in juvenile centers. Education Minister Favour Williams says her ministry is serious about addressing the high teacher turnover rate, which has been plaguing the juvenile penal system for some time now, and is collaborating with the National Security Ministry to devise solutions. Earlier this year, Head of Correctional Services, Lieutenant Colonel Guerrero, brought to light the severe shortage of teachers in the system, which he said has adversely impacted the prison's ability to provide structured academic programs for juveniles. He also said that vocational training courses have not been able to receive national certification because the facilities do not meet the necessary standards. Speaking with the news on Friday in an exclusive interview on some of the issues affecting the education sector, Williams said her ministry and the security minister were working to resolve the issues of low remuneration, the main reason teachers in the corrections system do not stay on the job for long. We are very interested in making it better for both sides, the teachers as well as the inmates who are there, because we believe at the end of their sojourn they should come out better persons. If we can allow them to take exams and so on, they will be better able to be rehabilitated into society. So we are committed to working through that process to bring certification and ensure that the teachers who are there are comfortable in terms of their working environment and so on, Minister Williams told the news. According to the Department of Correctional Services, it is difficult to recruit teachers due to disparity in salary and the benefits between the DCS and the public schools, and that salaries and allowances are paid at the diploma level, although teachers have first degrees. Further, it said there is no established structure to facilitate upward mobility of teachers, as those in the DCS do not benefit from the Ministry of Education's training development programs, workshops, and seminars. Lieutenant Colonel Rowe said if the problems were not addressed, it would hobble the rehabilitation efforts for reintegration of children who are behind the bars. According to the department, between 2016 and 2018, 16 teachers walked away from the job, and at the time only 18 out of 48 vacant posts were filled. The department is also advocating for incentives for its teachers to encourage those with the appropriate qualifications to vie for the jobs. According to the DCS, over the last 5 years, an average of 15 juveniles sat the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate examination, obtaining 50% passes in 1 to 4 subjects. Barnswell blames a COVID fifth wave on government lifting of restrictions. Former Maypen Mayor Cian Barnswell has criticized the government for not extending COVID-19 restrictions when the orders under the Disaster Risk Management Act expired a few weeks ago, citing this as the reason for the current fifth wave of the pandemic in the island. Speaking on Thursday at the Spalding's Divisional Conference of the People's National Party at the Sanguinetti Primary School in Clarendon Northwestern, Barnswell, the councillor for the Hayes Division, said that the government disregarded the advice of health experts in lifting the restrictions. After 2 years of daily curfews and a ban on entertainment and large events, the government began easing the restrictions in March as infection numbers and hospitalizations declined drastically, citing the mental toll the measures were having on the population and the effects on the economy. The mask mandate and the testing requirements for travelers coming into the island were lifted in April. As the measures were lifted, the government urged the Jamaicans to continue practicing social distancing, wearing masks in crowded or closed spaces, and hand washing, even though they were no longer compulsory. In urging personal responsibility, the government also encouraged Jamaicans to keep taking COVID-19 jabs. On Thursday, Barnswell charged that the government had made a mockery of the DRMA. We have an act called the ODPEM Act, and in that act it speaks about all kinds of disasters, which include this pandemic, and what the government did was to sideline the ODPEM Act and take charge of the situation, and they make a mockery and a mess of it, Barnswell said, saying that the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the state's chief disaster response agency, was sidelined. Just the same way when we have hurricane season, ODPEM would come out and do the training and the sensitization and give guidelines as it relates to different hurricanes that we should expect during the hurricane season. They have the capacity to say to the people with this pandemic, this is what we need to do, but the government sidelined ODPEM. Not only ODPEM, they also sidelined the medical experts. They are not listening to the technical advisors, and that is why we are now seeing a fifth wave of this pandemic, he said. He also poured the scorn on the Holness administration for the hefty fines imposed on many Jamaicans for breaches of orders under the DRMA. I hear a lady from my neck of the woods in southeast Clarendon said the court charged her over $700,000 because she was at a party. I hear a man said he was charged $300,000 and some whole heap of money being charged to these people who are not even employed. So what the government have done is oppress the poor people of this country. Barnswell said, adding that the poor were unfairly targeted and treated in terms of breaches. I see some people in some hotel drink fine wine and having caviar, while you can go to a corner shop to buy a pound of flour and the next night's dinner and the next day's breakfast because them say is a corner shop has spread the virus. But yet, their friends can be at Mocha Fest having big party, sell off till they can't hold nobody. And let us not forget that party was a government-endorsed event, he said, referencing an event staged at Rick's Cafe in Negril a year ago, sparking much controversy. We're just waiting on the time and waiting on the hour, cause anytime them announce the next general election, we shall ensure that Mark Golding will be the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, he said. We will increase the numbers we have in Garden House, and Comrade Mark Jefferson Golding will be on his way leading this country back to glory, and continue the progress of P.J. Patterson and Portia Simpson Miller and what Comrade Peter Phillips had wanted to do, Barnswell said, referencing Golding's immediate predecessors. 11 people injured in St. James' crash. 11 people were injured Saturday afternoon in a two-vehicle collision along the Rose Hall Main Road in Montego Bay, St. James. It is reported that about 3 o'clock, two Mark X motor cars were racing along the main road when the driver of one of the cars lost control and slammed into a Toyota Hiace bus transporting passengers from Falmouth to Montego Bay. The injured passengers were rushed to the hospital for treatment. Accused bike thief killed by mob in Westmoreland. A man was killed by an angry mob in Whitehall Negril in Westmoreland on Friday night after he was accused of stealing a motorcycle. The deceased has been identified as a 32-year-old O'Neill Little T. Tomlinson of a Frome address. An eyewitness who did not want to be identified told the news that he saw the man running through the bushes into a yard. Me only see when him drop and them start beating with rockstone and boards, he recalled. 3 nights past straight him a thief bike, but last night them kill him, he said. You think it easy for a man save and buy a bike for $180,000 and a man a thief it? Them two wicked man, he added. According to the police's corporate communications unit report, Tomlinson died as a result of injuries he received in Whitehall. It is theorized that he was mobbed by residents after attempting to steal a motorcycle. He died at hospital at about 9:15 p.m., the CCU report said. The Negril police are investigating. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.